Water, already a precious commodity, is increasingly a point of contention between Canada and the U.S. President Donald Trump has publicly mused about diverting Canada's water to the U.S.
They have essentially a very large faucet.
Trump threatened to tear up the Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement and other water-sharing accords on a February phone call with then Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, the New York Times reported. The agreement is a pact between Canada and the U.S. to restore and protect the water quality and ecosystem of the 5 Great Lakes. But could Trump tear it up? Gail Kranzberg is a professor at McMaster University who has studied the Great Lakes region extensively. She says the political cost would be too high.
I don't believe our politicians on either side of the border are going to stand for that.
That's because the region, divided between 8 U.S. states and the Canadian province of Ontario, is an economic powerhouse. It contributes $8.8 billion in wages to the U.S. economy and accounts for about 35% of Canada's GDP. The Great Lakes region would be the 3rd largest economy in the world if it was its own country. The lakes and St. Lawrence Seaway are a crucial transportation corridor. The region supports a bustling tourism industry, including a multi-billion-dollar recreational and commercial fishery. Some 40 million people rely on the lakes for drinking water, and it is a major manufacturing hub. The Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement, first signed in 1972 and then modernized in 2012, is fundamental to the health of the Great Lakes. But deregulation and Trump's cuts to the federal workforce are a more present threat.
Looking at lake levels, looking at weather events, all of these things are, potentially in peril.
Deep cuts to staffing at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Environmental Protection Agency, as well as a key research lab monitoring the health of the Great Lakes, imperil everything from water quality to forecasting of extreme weather events and predicting harmful algae blooms. Here's one example of why this matters. In 2014, algae blooms in Lake Erie caused a major water crisis in Toledo that shut down the city's water supply.
So what it means is a degradation of water quality, which means degradation of economic quality and health quality in the Great Lakes region.
Trump is also rolling back regulations related to mercury and other toxic emissions from coal plants, as well as limits on forever chemicals called PFAS in both drinking water and manufacturing waste, already a serious problem for the Great Lakes.
It just is a matter of time as to when we see more algae, or higher concentrations of mercury in the food chain and the fish that people want to eat.
In Canada, there's a lot we can do locally to maintain water quality and preserve the ecosystems of the Great Lakes. And we've had some success. One good example is the work done to improve the health of the Toronto Harbour, which in the 1970s was heavily polluted.
If you go down to Toronto Harbour now, it's almost unrecognizable.
But Harvey Scheer, a professor at the University of Toronto, says without the U.S., Canada would be left fighting against the current when it comes to managing Lake Ontario and the 3 other Great Lakes on our shared border.
Lake Ontario will feel the impact of what happens across in Rochester or Niagara Falls, New York, or Oswego, or wherever.
The reason for that, well, it's obvious.
The water water goes where it goes, fish go where they go, algae go where they go, and pollution goes where it wants to go.
And if we don't protect this resource, our economy and our health will suffer. Alyssa Julie, Global News, Toronto.